Primetime local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Welcome. My name is Zach Kenny, and tonight on PTLN, we look at a few extra stories. Border City Connects, along with the Health Foundation, are celebrating a purchase of a new caravan. The vehicle will be used to transport Lloydminster residents to out-of-town medical appointments in Alberta and Saskatchewan. The 2022 Dodge Grand Caravan replaces a 2015 vehicle with over 300,000 kilometers on it.
We pick people up at their door, we take them to their medical appointment, we wait and then take them back to their residence. So it's a service that's very well welcomed. We're 100% volunteer ran, so we have over 25 volunteers that drive individuals.
The new caravan was able to be purchased thanks to funding from the Lloydminster Region Health Foundation.
Our board decided that, you know what, this is a huge healthcare enhancement for our community. It's an innovative enhancement for our community to be able to take individuals to outside of our community to the necessary appointments that they need to attend. It really is, you can't really put a price on that. So through the generous support of our donors and our Greatest Need Fund, we're very excited to be able to have purchased this caravan for the Border City Connects.
Border City Connects transported close to 400 people to out-of-town appointments last year. Lloydminster and District Co-op has made an exciting announcement at their AgriVisions Expo. Co-op has announced a new card lock location in Maidstone to provide truckers and drivers with a station to refuel.
So a lot of our card locks, some of the older ones don't have all the products available, particularly DEF and premium gasoline. So this newest card lock will have all petroleum products available.
Located at the intersection of Highway 16 and Highway 21 South, the location provides various types of fuel such as premium gasoline and clear diesel. It can also fit cars ranging from semi-trucks to small cars as well.
It'll be big enough that it can accept commercial semis as well as farm equipment. Yeah, we're finally excited to finally provide this service to our members because it's been asked for quite some time. So we're really excited to expand our card lock network, being one of the largest in Canada.
Co-op expects the project to break ground starting spring and is set to open in the fall. Changes to Lloydminster's municipal election date was discussed and voted on by Council this week. Members of Council voted in favor of supporting the Local Government Election Act to amend the Saskatchewan municipal election date for the 2024 election. This change was encouraged based on the events that occurred during the 2022 election.
In 2020, the city administration had worked really hard to have a drive-through polling station to make it easy for people to vote. It was going to be located at Bud Miller Park. They had made all the arrangements, set everything up, and what happened was we had a snowstorm. Now, technically, you could have a snowstorm in this country almost any day or any month of the year, but the chances of having it outside, moving the election outside of November would be significantly improved, that chance of not having a storm.
The City of Lloydminster wants to make voting as easy and accessible to residents as possible, which is why they believe moving the election date to the warmer months could be beneficial.
It's been a challenge that's been ongoing in municipalities for a number of years, and we just want, as a member of SUMA, and that's SUMA's direction, to say pushing it into November is not in the best interest of the electorate, or the electors, which are the voters. We want to make it as easily and convenient as possible to come out and vote in a municipal election.
There has been no official date selected for a new municipal election date. LSPD's Hockey Academy has a new skill development program where kids can practice certain techniques out on the ice. The PEP program seems to have a great response so far, and our Shelby Clark has more in this week's Beyond the Classroom.
This academy accepts a wide range of kids who either don't play minor hockey at all to kids playing in AAA. The program allows any player to work on their skills and progress to the level they want.
We have kids that make huge strides and are willing to come and put in a lot of work, and the progress that we see from those kids is immense. And then the kids that are wanting to build their tools and are playing AAA, again, same thing, they come and work hard and we can see them progress too throughout the year. It's really cool.
Kids are allowed to leave school and join their peers out here on the ice. Each session has fresh drills for them to learn, fresh techniques, and now a new Power Edge Pro program where they get to learn from former player Adam Huxley.
The best player in the world is a big pep guy, Connor McDavid. So Joe Quinn from Toronto invented pep, and Connor's been training since he's 8 or 9 years old, still does to this day. It's a reactive countering training. It's overloading the motor skills. It's just a different cutting edge way of training. Really helps, inside skills, but we've advanced it to all kinds of different places in the rink.
The program officially has 107 kids that are now registered. Students from grades 4 to 9 have been using 2 days out of their week to participate in the academy. The plan is to continue using the PEP program for the next 2 years, since they've heard back a strong response from families.
The grade 4 to 6 group, they come out Tuesday and Thursday, so twice a week, and they skate from 2:10 to 3:10. And then the grade 7s to 9s, they're on the ice Monday, Wednesday. So just kind of keep an eye on our website, and there will be a registration, an application to fill out. And we have strong numbers right now, and so there's limited spots available, so I recommend doing that as early as possible.
And that's it in this week's Beyond the Classroom.
At Lakeland College, our students go beyond the classroom for immersive, hands-on learning experiences. It's about experiencing the real world, because the real world doesn't wait, and neither do we.
The Battle of the Badges charity game returns after its 4-year hiatus on February 18th. Our Callan Dunlop reports.
Hi everyone, I'm Callan with Primetime Local News, and today I'm joined by Curtis with the fire department, who is also playing in the Battle of the Badges. So Curtis, can you maybe enlighten us on what the Battle of the Badges is?
Sure. It's been definitely a little bit of time since the last Battle of the Badges. 2019 was the last one that we actually were able to throw, obviously with COVID and all that other type of stuff going on. But the Todd Gustafson Battle of the Badges Memorial Hockey Game is just a charity game between the RCMP and Lloydminster Fire Department and friends, where we go out, we play some hockey and puck and raise some food donations, as well as some cash donations for some of our local charities.
Can you speak to those local charities? I know you each have 2 separate ones. Can you speak on both of them?
For sure. So the RCMP, they are playing for the Olive Tree for their cash donations as well as their food donations. The Lloydminster Fire Department, we are playing for the Salvation Army as well as Project Sunrise, which is a part of the Lloydminster Health Foundation.
And can you speak to the importance of this event in Lloyd, like just the event as a whole?
Yeah, it has a lot of meaning to it. Obviously, the late Todd Gustafson was a fire chief, and Calum, he's a part of our firefighter brotherhood as well for years. And there's that part of it, as well as the memory of him and everything he did in this community for the fire department, as well as for our first responders. We get to hang out together, and it's been a while. We've been able to throw on the skates and compete against each other in this kind of atmosphere. So it's been stressful, and just like for everybody the past 3 years with COVID and all that type of stuff going on. And then last and most importantly, it's for a great cause. We're out there, and there's people in need, there's people struggling who can't put food on the table. So this is where it gives us an opportunity to give back in another way as well, and get some non-perishable food items, and raise money for the mental health initiative as well with Project Sunrise.
I'm not trying to stoke a rivalry here, but I'm curious to know on who you think might come out with the win this year.
The RCMP, they always have a good roster, but it would be definitely nice to see that trophy come and be housed here in our new fire hall for the next year. Hopefully we put a good squad together this year to compete against them and finally bring it back home. But like I said, it's going to be a fun game, and we work alongside these men and women every day. So it's going to be a blast to go out there and play some puck against them as well.
All right, awesome. I think that covers everything I wanted to talk about. So thank you so much for taking the time.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Furniture set and design supplied by Furniture Gallery and Furniture House, downtown Lloydminster.
The costs of divorce and separation are often a concern for couples going through it. Stacey Comer finds out more on how much you can expect to pay when going through the process.
Once again, Stephanie Dobson is joining us. Stephanie is a lawyer and mediator here in Lloydminster. This is another episode of Healthy, Thriving Family After Divorce. And Stephanie, today we're getting right to it and talking about the costs associated. I think this is something that people might not be aware of, or they might even be afraid to go into negotiations because they think they're going to be basically having to declare bankruptcy after going through dealing with costs with separation and divorce. So when you hire somebody like yourself as a divorce professional, Stephanie, what can people expect for fees?
Well, it's always a really hard question to ask. Of course, within our industry, everyone's going to have their own sort of their billing practices. But it is often one of the very first things that people ask, and we're going to get into it in a moment as to sort of what would cause the escalation of fees or the de-escalation of fees, and how can you kind of get control over it. But what I wanted to start with is just sort of to dispel the mystery of what kind of fees people can expect. So I kind of lump them into two different sections. So one is for the payment of ongoing fees, and one is what we call retainer arrangements. So let's start with the second one first. So a retainer is basically a deposit that you're going to pay to your lawyer, who keeps that amount in their trust account. So that amount stays in that trust account until that lawyer has actually worked on your file. Now, every lawyer has a different way that they invoice and use that trust account. Some lawyers will actually take that retainer that you pay at the beginning, and they'll actually use that to pay your invoice each month. And then eventually they ask you to replenish that retainer. And other lawyers will actually ask you to pay a certain retainer amount, where they'll keep that amount in sort of on your file designated for you. And then every time they invoice you, you actually have to pay that invoice separately. So it's really important to understand not only what is the retainer deposit, but also how will that retainer deposit be used. So when we look at then the ongoing fees, there's basically two different ways that lawyers will charge for family law services. So one is hourly and the other one is flat rate. So hourly services are usually for the negotiations that lead to agreement. So there's going to be certain intervals of time charged. So in my case, I charge by what we call the 6-minute interval, or the 0.1 of an hour. So that means that if I work on something for 12 minutes, I use 0.2 hours, and that's what you get billed. Now, there's some lawyers that actually charge by the 15-minute interval. So really important to ask that question. And then when we look at flat rate, it's usually for some standard documents. So things like drafting a separation agreement, or drafting a divorce application, or things like that might be flat rate.
You mentioned, Stephanie, escalating costs when going through these negotiations. What are some of the things that could contribute to those escalating costs?
Well, there's three main things that I would say would drive up fees for a family. I often feel like when separating spouses hire a divorce lawyer, they feel a little bit like it's a blank check, and they sort of lose control over the fees that come on an ongoing basis. So three of the tips that I would give: first is the conflict level. So the higher the conflict, the more time it's going to take to resolve each issue. The second thing is, frankly, the number of issues. So if you've got 3 issues to resolve, and then it's going to take less time perhaps than 5 issues. The third one is the negotiation process choice. So our viewers are going to be very familiar with all we've talked about: mediation, collaborative divorce, litigated divorce, so court divorce. And there's a lot of costs that are inherent in the various process choices that you take. So if you choose mediation, there's going to be a lot less costs than a litigated scenario.
Is there something, Stephanie, that couples can do, or when they do discuss issues and kind of get things sorted ahead of time, does that help save on the costs?
Well, it can. I often recommend to people that they do try to talk about some things as much as they can outside of meeting with me or outside of the negotiation, say in a mediation. But here's the rule of thumb. Negotiate and discuss things as long as the discussions remain productive and the emotions stay somewhat in check. So as soon as that moment hits that you say, oop, that conversation became heated and, we're not really being productive anymore, we're just arguing, or, we're actually going backwards, that going backwards piece. So once you get to that heated moment, often that can actually make negotiations take longer and actually cost more money. So definitely come to the table as prepared as you can. But what I would recommend is sometimes it's helpful to discuss things with your former partner, but sometimes it might be helpful just to discuss things, well, I guess not discuss things, but sort of think through things on your own. So it's sort of your own proposal as opposed to something that you've discussed, and then you can bring that proposal to your mediator or lawyer. Now, I have found that one of my most useful tools in doing that pre-thinking is this workbook. A lot of our viewers would have been familiar with the workbook. So this is a tool, a workbook that I use with a lot of mediation and my legal files, where people can actually do some of that preparation, and there's prompting questions to help them to figure out what their proposal might be on any particular issue.
All right, Stephanie. Well, good information as always, and thank you so much for joining us. We will chat with you again next week.
Yeah, thanks, Stacey.
The Lloydminster Agricultural Exhibition is once again hosting Agrivisions today and tomorrow. With more on the event, here's Thomas Wildman.
Agrivisions is one of the premier agricultural showcase events in the prairies, where various companies and groups come to show off their products and services, as well as mix and mingle with various members of the agricultural community.
It's a great opportunity for businesses to be able to come out and show what they've got, and for farmers to be able to come in and kick some tires and just find out what's going on, and an opportunity to listen to some really good speakers and get an insight of what's happening.
While there are other trade shows that these companies can attend, for local companies like Clausen Industries, Agrivisions is an event where they get to talk to a large portion of their customer base.
Customers love to talk to somebody in person. Not everybody makes it out to our farm where we're actually building this product. We also enjoy meeting our customers and seeing what their needs are, and most of our ideas have come from customers. They will look at our product and say, hey, what if you change that up and make it a little bit different for me? And we're like, yep, we can do it for you. We started coming to this show about 16 years ago, and it's the one show that we try to make sure we don't miss. So we've been coming here for every year.
Agrivisions also offers some great opportunities for learning through their various speakers throughout the 2 days.
And the big keynote is, we've got Quick Dick McDick coming for the banquet tonight. And Quick Dick, he's funny, he knows farming, he's always a good drawing card. So anybody who's comes to the banquet will really enjoy him. But he's also speaking at another session tomorrow. So if you don't happen to be able to catch him at the banquet tonight, you will be able to catch him again tomorrow. We've got FCC just had an economic outlook person speaking. We've had livestock markets, grain markets.
For Primetime Local News, I'm Thomas Wildman.
Now we'll take a look at your ag prices.